Hi, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. Hello, hello. Hi. I love starting the videos with music, but after I got copyrighted a few times, then I guess I learned my lesson. And until I figured it out, there is no more music at the beginning of my videos. But I want to welcome you to Wellness Wednesday, the first Wellness Wednesday for February, which is super crazy that 1 month has already passed. Hi, Junie. Hi. I was waiting for you. Thanks for coming here. By the way, I am wearing this in your honor today, and you will know what that means. I know it's February, so it's crazy. I can't even believe how the time is going, and it's insane, but it's good. January has been a very good month, very strong month, and so far the year is promising. So I guess it took maybe a little more this year to get kind of like my ducks in a row after the holiday season, but we are getting there because we cannot be too hard on ourselves. It's always gonna look great. I take good care of my stuff. So yeah, like as I always say, doing this helps me a lot to also get into my own head and be like, okay, this is bad for you, you know it, just stay away from it, and here and there I'm not going to, but for the majority of time I try to have my life in the control of my own hands. So I hope it's the same with you, and I hope the little bits of information that I give over here can somehow turn a little transformational and a little helpful in your own life. I'm gonna really do my best today to keep it to 15 to 20 minutes. I've been trying that for quite a few times and it never works out, but let's see how I can make it a little shorter today and still give the information that I want to give you out there. So as I stated last time on last Wellness Wednesdays, I'm gonna do a mini series where we're gonna, on each Wednesday, we will talk about a couple of things that are either improving our life or are making the quality of our life worse, and are kind of like enemies to our body, mind, and such. Last time we talked about the gifts of vital breathing and lymphocyzing and the gifts of living water and live foods. So today we're going to move on to the next two gifts that we can give ourselves and optimize the quality of our lives. And that is the power of essential oils and the power of alkalinity. And alkalinity on itself, it's such a huge topic, but I'm going to be very brief, I promise. So let's get right to it. So when it comes to the power of the essential oils, ultimately what we'll be talking about today is the power of fat. And how does that sound to you, just the word fat? It doesn't sound good, right? It kind of like makes you crunch a little bit, like, I don't want that. And I've been listening about it and I've been trying to understand why, like when did fat became so wrong? When did we become such enemies of fat, And it comes down ultimately to the fact that throughout years and years and years, the marketing and advertisement industry has bombarded us and just like brainwashed us into believing that everything that contains the word fat in it is bad, and that's how the fat free started, that revolution of the fat free and like low fat and all these things. And it was somehow put in our heads that whenever we want to lose weight or whenever we want to look good, we should go for fat free products because they're better for us and this and that, which is completely not true at all, because usually the process that the product goes through in order to be fat-free contains like processes and chemical additions and reactions that turn out a lot more damaging to our body than the actual fat that was in it naturally, or whatever the kind of product is. So fat-free products are really not good, and we should really, really not consume them at all, actually eliminate, just the idea of eliminating completely fats from your diet is probably one of the worst things that you can do to yourself ever, because there is two kinds of fats that we're going to talk a little bit about today, and one is the life essential fats, the other one is the killer fats, because they can't really be called anything else, because that's what they do, they rob us out of life. And the life essential fats, they're exactly what the title says. They're essential to our well-being. Our brain is 60% fat, so our brain needs those good fats in order to function. And the secret into balancing and into giving yourself the right amount of fat for your well-being is to kind of understand which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones, and how can you not just balance out, but avoid and stay away from the bad ones as much as you can, because the way that they are, and I'm going to say a few examples of which one are the bad fats, they interact with our body and with our blood and with our cells in a very damaging and very toxic way. So fats, again, overall are very important for us. It's just a matter of fact of getting the right ones and providing them to our body so our functions can go as smooth and as natural as they are intended to be. The good fats consist usually of omega-3s and omega-6. They can be sourced to you by high quality supplements or by seeds, nuts, and things like that. And I'm going to give you a few pointers that I have wrote down here of why are the essential fatty acids so important to us. Like what are all the strengths and what are all the benefits that they give to our body. So they increase our metabolism, our energy level, and oxidation. They help with skincare. They help for smoother skin, for eczemas. They fight acne. They're good for helping with psoriasis. They help digestion. They help leaky intestines that can lead to allergies, inflammation, and autoimmune problems. They're absolutely required in the cardiovascular system, so good for our heart. They elevate mood, they relieve depression, and they help us fight the stress. So think about that, like avocado literally helps your mood levels and depression levels. Like, it's insane how food is related to the way that we feel on internal level. Essential fatty acids stabilize the heartbeat. Again, like, they're very good for the heart. In the immune system, they protect the DNA from damage. They're involved in transporting minerals through the body. The brain doesn't function without them. And did you know that an unborn baby draws from its mother's body the needed amounts of essential fats that it needs in order to develop its own brain? So if a pregnant woman is not consuming enough, yes, avocado is definitely life. I love avocado. Funny story, side note, because Junie threw that comment for the avocado. When I first lived in the Dominican Republic, and she knows that story, for the first few years, I did not like avocados. And for those of you who haven't been to the Dominican Republic, like for my fellow Canadians who are supplying their avocados from the grocery store here, and they're about like this big and come from Mexico frozen, like the Dominican avocados, I'm not joking, are like, you can find avocados this side. They're delicious, they're so juicy, and they're everywhere around you. And for years, I wasn't taking advantage of that. I just didn't like it because I thought that avocado doesn't have a taste. And I was like, why do people eat that? So then eventually I came around it and it became life. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss those avocados so good. So avocado is definitely life. But yeah, essential fatty acids are exactly essential to us. And what I was saying about the baby is that if a pregnant woman is not consuming enough of them and like higher quantities, then it can affect ultimately the development of the brain of the unborn baby. So they're that important. And then the other side of the fats is the killer fats, those that actually take life out of us, those that the bad ones for us. They're ultimately processed fats. They're fats that have gone through a process that is cooking process, usually is connected to high temperature, and they have not only been stripped out of whatever nutrients they originally had, but that process make them toxic to our body, literally toxic to our body. And the dangers of bad fats include poor circulation, high blood pressure, poor elimination, excess congestion, and toxicity in the body. So bad fats create also mucus in the body, and we're going to touch how important that is in a moment. So some examples of bad fats are margarine, they're processed butters, processed oils, processed cheeses, vegetable oils, fried foods, shortenings, like all these things that they completely clog us on the inside and they have zero benefits to our well-being. Some of them taste really good, I'm not fighting that, but they're really, really bad for us. So on the opposite side of those that give us life, the essential life-sustaining fats, those are the fats that they are created in their natural state. So they do not go through those thermical processes, and then therefore their nutrients and their vitamins and minerals are inside of them, and then our body absorbs them the way that they're intended from nature. There is like cold pressing for oils and things like that. And by the way, for those of you who like to cook, I don't know if you have ever paid attention to the oils that you use for cooking, but I do, and I've experimented with different oils. And for example, on a bottle of avocado oil, it literally says that it's good for high temperatures. You know, as for example, the olive oil should be consumed in its natural raw form. We shouldn't be cooking, we shouldn't be heating the olive oil overall. So pay attention to the oils that you use. There is a lot of information and resources online. I like cooking with avocado oil. I don't cook with olive oil. I use it cold. I use it on salads or for dressings or things like that, but I do not like to heat up olive oil. So that was an interesting topic to me to dig into. So if you like to cook and you like your kitchen, this is something to look into for yourself and to see what makes sense and what not. So the essential life-sustaining fatty acids are the omega-3 and omega-6, flaxseed oil, avocado oil, olive oil, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are amazing. They're high on these great fats and they're absorbed from your body very well, and they're full of fiber also, such as walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, chia seeds. Flaxseed is super high. Flax and chia seeds are super high on omega-3 and omega-6. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, all those are great for you, because remember that we should require ourselves to consume life essential fatty acids and to consume fats, just to learn the difference between the good and the bad fats, and to stay away from those killer fats and those fat-free products. And if you're somebody who's trying to lose weight, for example, because that's usually the reason that make us reach for those fat-free products and low-fat products, just try to eat less from the bad fats and overall try to consume less calories than the amount of calories that you burn in your everyday life. It's pretty simple. You don't really have to overwhelm your body with fake products. You just gotta stay away from the bad stuff. And I promise it's gonna work. It worked on me, so I know what I'm talking about. The next thing, I'm doing good with time, not 15 minutes, but I'm doing there. Heather, hi, welcome. Heather was able to join on time today, so good to see you here. The next gift that I want to briefly touch on today is the gift of alkalinity, and that's one of my favorite topics, and that's one of the longest topics that we can sit and discuss here all night long, but I'm going to be very brief. So alkalinity is, to me at least, and that's my understanding, it's energy. And you know, we always talk about how energy is the essence of life. Energy is just that boost that we have as human beings. Energy is, it's what we are, all the life inside of us. So balanced body chemistry and proper ratio between acid and alkaline foods in our system. And it's not only about food, but foods are one of the main things that have an impact on the levels of acidity and alkalinity in our bodies. So having a balance between those is from a vital importance for our well-being. And one of the highest priorities of our body is to make sure that the alkalinity through the body remains on a level that is sustainable for the life of our cells. What does that mean? That our body, so this is the thing, the more alkaline the body is, the better. And I have living examples of that I've mentioned before to you, and I will find a way to get, oh, well, hello, Robin. There is somebody interesting to see tonight. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Laura. So the more alkaline your body is, the more energetic your body is. So alkaline foods are those foods full of energy. They're electricity. So they're those natural, not man-made foods, because that was a whole other thing. I found out that a lot of the foods that I use in my everyday life, and I thought that they were just full of electricity and energy, they were actually man-made foods, which are not exactly electric at all, but again, it's going to come down to the thing that we still enjoy a lot of things that are not necessarily the most beneficial ones for us, but doesn't mean that they're bad for us necessarily, right? So the higher your body is on the alkaline side, the more life there is inside of you. And you know how we talked about the fact that our body is designed in such a perfect way, and it has absolutely everything that it needs in order to fight any disease, any virus, any bacteria, anything that comes at us. All we have to do is create the right environment for that. What does that mean? We talk about the immune system, that is actually the lymphatic system. We talked about what does good to it and what does bad to it, how we can reverse diseases, and how when we spot signs, because here's one thing though, we all have some sort of disease inside of us. We all have parasites, we all have bacteria. There is not a person out there that doesn't have these things inside of us. And there is a lot of side factors that we're in absolutely no control of, like there's things in the air, there's things in our water, there's things spread in our vegetables, so I think it's our responsibility to learn more about the things that we are in control of, and to try to reach out for as much as we can for the things that give us life rather than those that take life away from us, which I always like to bring up because it's true, and because I also try to program it in my own mind. So the one thing about all disease to understand is that every disease is high on acidic percentage. So your body starts to show signs of disease and an illness when usually one of the most common reasons is when we have mistreated it for too long with too much acid. And I'm going to say a few things about the acidic foods, which they're going to be a little controversial to some people. So again, I'm going to say what I said last time. I do not come here to, don't shoot the messenger, I am not looking for controversial topics. I am just saying what I have found in my findings, what I have experimented and tried on myself and my body, and what have I understood from my own experience. Now, I'm going to admit, I have never been on fully alkaline diet in my life yet, but I do have people in my life that are for many, many years now, and I have been lucky enough to follow the development and the process and to know how, what's the level of energy of these people, and in life, and it's amazing. And I told you about my friend last time who was, he has multiple sclerosis, and he was sent to an alkaline, to do an alkaline diet, because he can reverse that condition, but he has to create electric state of just his whole body. He cannot have any acid in his body because he has mucus in his nervous system. And mucus is exactly what creates the base, the foundation of all disease. And mucus is directly related to acid. So there is pH stripes out there. If you are ever curious, you can buy one and test yourself and see like, are you acidic, are you alkaline, what are you? Or you can also do, remember, your blood is your river of life, so you can test that also. And if you want to make some changes, or if you have some concerns, that would be a perfect place to start. Everyone should be doing that once in a while, because we need to know where we're standing at with our bodies, and then what actions need to be taken. Because why wait until we get sick to take an action rather than avoid getting sick on the first place, right? There you go, Laura. Exactly. That's right. And for us to create a good environment, a living environment, alkaline environment for our bodies, there is a lot of, quite a few things involved, but the foods that we consume, they are directly involved with the acid or alkaline level of our body. And the best thing that we can do after giving ourselves proper breathing oxygen, making sure that we get enough oxygen, because we did establish that that's the main and the most important thing for our cells to try, is the oxygen. Then is the water, hydration, and then is providing our body with healthy and vital foods, foods that contain life and electricity. So then more electricity we put in, then more everything inside of is communicating with one another, and more that electricity can fight off whatever bad thing is inside of us that is trying to attack us and to literally eat us from inside out. So the more alkaline foods you can eat, the more natural foods you can eat, the better it is. The more energy, the greater life force you get. And again, those are the natural foods that come straight from nature. Fruits, heavily, mostly fruits. Vegetables, not all of them, but a lot of them. Leafy greens, sweetgrass, sprouts, etc., etc. There is like a huge list. I've mentioned that before. For those of you who do not know who Dr. Sebi is, I urge you to go online and look him up. Holistic doctor, cured HIV, cured diabetes, cured whatever you can. He was the man to me that proved that everything the body can heal itself with just nature, with herbs and with eating electric foods, creating electric environment. So you can look into those foods, you can experiment, and you can see how your body feels eating different ways. I did few months of completely straightly vegan, and I kept it. I tried not to eat vegan junk food, but just more of a natural foods, plant-based foods, and I honestly gotta say that those were the months that I felt most energetic. I felt like just full of life. I don't know, it was a clean body and clean thoughts, clean process. And every now and then I am vegetarian. I try to stick as much as I can to natural foods, but I would have periods where, like I would consume dairy and things like that. Besides the effects physically that it has on me, on my skin, like irritated skin, bloated, and just like lower energy, it also it's a bad process that it creates inside of me. So I always know, I can easily tell the difference now in between how the different foods treat my body. So natural is the way to go. Quick examples, couple of examples of the acid forming foods. Don't get mad at me. Animal flesh, processed cheeses, processed fats, eggs, caffeine, alcohol, refined sugars. I know, I also like coffee and I like wine and I like sweet stuff, but because I enjoy the taste doesn't mean that I do not understand that those create acid in me. And again, if I go a certain time without consuming them and then I go one night of indulging on cheeses and wine, I'm not going to walk you through the process on the next day of my body, because it's, like I'm a lady and I'm not going to be talking about these things. It's not pretty though. Like it's an instant reaction right there. Not good. So this is my kind of what assures me that what I'm telling you today is the true thing. So look into these things. There is a lot to find over there. And if you're ever curious, experiment with yourself. Go 7 days. I've noticed that for me, 7 days is what takes my skin to clear if I've been overdoing it or indulging a little too much. 7 days is what gets my energy levels to go up. And just, I feel like 7 days is literally what takes for my cells in my body to recreate and to go clear. So if you're ever doubting about yourself, even out of curiosity, do 7 days. Don't even stress about the words like detox or cleanse or things like that. Just try to go natural for a few days. You know, like exchange your coffee for tea. You know, like don't consume alcohol. Again, I am not against it. I enjoy it, but it's one of the worst things for us, and like it robs us from life big time. Clean out all animal products or eliminate them to as much as you can. Go heavy on fruit. Eat heavy fruit every day, because fruit is like, for the lymphatic system, for example, melons, berries, those are like the biggest natural detoxifiers you can find. And there is, again, a lot of information. Research Dr. Sebi, check out his list. He's wrote books about it. He has particular groups of foods that you should be consuming for different types, for whatever you're trying to do with your body, and overall what gives you electricity. Amazing information you can find over there. Depends again on how curious about it you are about it, and how much do you want to explore from it. So remember, guys, we gotta teach ourselves how to be conscious about, sorry, let me just read what Heather said. The green shake is a really great day to get all of those nutrients in your body. Oh yes, actually Heather, you guys follow Heather, because first of all, I love the content that you've been putting lately. She does every day, she would put those amazing, super easy and super delicious recipes. She uses a lot of green shakes and a lot of natural additions to her diet, and Heather has done an incredible transformation. So I definitely I'm a witness of the things that she says and posts about, that they're absolute true. So I enjoy her content, and I do agree very much about the green shake. What I learned lately though is that I was always stuck on the idea that the greens are where I should go always when I'm trying to clean my system. And I was led to the information that fruits actually might even have a bigger impact on us than the greens. So I'm trying to learn a little more about that. And I'm trying out for myself with different things. And I'm a fruit lover to begin with. I enjoy the fruit and the sweetness of the fruit so much. But either way, you're never going to go wrong, because we need to reprogram ourselves, and we need to be conscious when we make choices. And I said it last time, and I'm going to remind you again. Every time you reach for a food, think to yourself, is this going to cleanse me, or is this going to clog me? Because I watched the video, I'm going to tell you really quickly before I go. I watched the video on one of the seminars where they were talking particularly about alkaline diet and how does it work on your body. And they showed a microscopic view from the cells in your blood, and how normal cells are flowing around, and how they're supposed to look in their clean and natural environment, and how do they look when the body is being too acidic, when the wrong foods have been eating in it for too long. So when it's the natural process, like everything is floating around and everything is normal. When it's an acidic body, and when the cells are just getting overwhelmed and they're dying in a rate that they cannot catch a break, they cannot restore themselves, then they get like stuck to one another, and they form like almost visually like a ball, you know. So then they're clogging your heart, they're clogging your blood, and the bigger the ball gets, the more disease creates inside of you, you know. Because again, the problem is not, to me, in my understanding, the problem is not, oh well, I like meat or I like cheese, you know, I'm not going to give up on that. That's fine, you don't have to give up on that, but we got to get to the bottom of like what's exactly acidic to us and what's not, and how much of it can we actually consume without coming down with very serious consequences. So that's kind of like what I'm inviting you and what I'm trying to get here, you know. Like, I don't want to get anyone frustrated. I don't want to get anyone like, oh no, that's too much for me, you know, like that's stressing me out, that's giving me anxiety. No, this should be a fun process. It should be a great process when we're discovering ourselves, we're discovering our bodies and what's good for us, because when we change the foods and what we put inside, starting from our plate, then it changes our thoughts and the way that we see the world and the way that we create and the way that we treat others. Like, it affects our moods, it affects the level of stress and depression. It's incredible. It's incredible. So we got to be more conscious about it. And we need to understand that everything acidic that we put inside of us is robbing us out of life. And I'm literally going to write that down on one of my many boards around me, to always pay attention to the acidic, because that's us killing ourselves and robbing us from our life. Thank you, Heather. I can say the same to you. I'm very grateful to have people like you in my life, because it's not easy, guys. Like, it's not easy for any of us to always be on a track, and to always try to do better and to try through our example to inspire others. But once your circle becomes mainly of people like that, then it becomes such a natural thing, and then it's more the good that gets promoted between you and your circle. It doesn't have to be your best friend, it doesn't have to be your coworker, but just the people that you pay attention to. So I also encourage you, like, we spend a lot of time on social media and such. Try to pay attention to what are you following on social media, like who are you letting in your life, and who are you letting in your thoughts, and what kind of content are you letting in, like, is it benefiting you? Is it like helping you grow? Is it helping you be better and feel better? Or is it just putting more baggage onto your mind, and like more negativity, more stress, more, like bad habits and things like that. So that's one thing. Remember, guys, I'm going to quote you something. Habits are bad if they're just habits and you are not present. How cool is that? Habits are bad when they're just habits and you're not present. Think about that. Think about your daily routines and how many things do we do out of habit and no thought here, So let's start getting more thoughts and less just mechanical day to day, or because we've been programmed, or because we've been doing it all our life, or because we watched our parents doing it. That has nothing to do with us. We can blame our mistakes, our shortcomings, and our lack of self-love and self-care to the generations before us, to whoever didn't know better and did it like the best way they can. And, like to the ones before, to our environment, it's us. It starts and ends here. Do you want to raise your standards? Do you want to live a vital life? Do you want to enjoy life? Do you want to feel good? Or do you want to feel crappy? Do you want to have low energy? Do you want to be hungover every morning? Do you want to feel just kind of like you want to nap all day because of the food that you ate? Because it's dragging you. It's not giving you any energy. There is nothing electric in it. It's just starch and bad, And that's when we start paying more attention to that and starting slowly, day by day, one day at a time, nothing extreme. Creating better choices for ourselves, raising our own standards and choosing what's best for us, and slowly elevate and keep repeating until it becomes a habit and it gets in our heads. Then you have nothing to worry about, because what's meant for you is gonna be for you. I always say that. And but there is a lot of ways to control the things that are in our control, and to just train ourselves to be the best version of ourselves in any way we can. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Laura. Thanks so much for that. I love your ways also. You're one of the people that inspires me so much, and you create beautiful smoothie bowls. So I'm just waiting for your smoothie bowl with my granola. And I think that's it for me. Of course, I didn't make it into 15 or 20 minutes. I only make it in like 35 minutes, but still a little bit of a progress. Next time, we're going to talk about the power of movement and aerobic energy, and the power of maximum nourishment. Or maybe next time we'll talk about Valentine's Day, love, and self-love. How about that? Let me know what would you like me to talk about next Wellness Wednesday, which is Valentine's week, because I'm kind of debating, but I'm leaning towards having like a little bit of a Valentine's edition. So I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I saw some people who I've never seen on my live before, and that really makes my heart full. Thanks for listening. I'm wishing everyone a great night. And when you go and reach for food in your fridge now, ask yourself the question, will this cleanse me or will this clog me? love yourself, and be kind to your mind, body, and spirit. I love you guys. Have a good night.